Hey YouTube, Ed here with Jack of All Trades, and welcome back to another video. So today I've got a brand new Citadel TRAKR 22 long rifle, semi-automatic rifle. I've been looking at this rifle and I finally decided, you know what, I'm going to buy one. Got a pretty good deal on it. I got it off a gun broker for like $189 plus shipping, so it was a decent deal. Thought, why not do a video on it? So I went ahead and threw a scope on it, and we're gonna test fire it today, and we're gonna talk about this gun, and I'm gonna tell you what I think of it. So stay tuned. Let's talk about the Citadel TRAKR 22 long rifle. And welcome back. So what have we got here? We've got the Citadel TRAKR 22 long rifle semi-automatic. So what do we know about this rifle? We know this rifle has an 18-inch barrel on it, which is threaded for a suppressor or a muzzle device. It comes stock from the factory with adjustable front and rear sights. Actually, the rear sight is adjustable, the front is fixed. They're plastic. The front sight is obviously hooded. The composite stock or plastic stock, whatever you want to call it, does have M-lock slots in the side of it, and as you can see already on this rifle, I've gone ahead and I've mounted a Picatinny rail on the bottom so I could mount a bipod, so I could use this gun off of a bipod. It comes from the factory with a Picatinny rail mounted to the top of the receiver. This scope is a very inexpensive scope I picked up at one of my multi-product retail centers, and it's just a very inexpensive $45 scope. It's a straight 4-power, and it's got adjustable turrets on the top and on the side, but very inexpensive. The scope does not come with the gun. It comes with one 10-round magazine, and as I understand it, these are the same magazines that go into a 702 Plinkster. So you should be able to get magazines that fit a 702 Plinkster to fit this gun. Otherwise, you can order them right from the Legacy International website, which is the company that imports and sells this firearm. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do a test fire and we're going to do a shoot on it. Now, this gun retails for about $240, but I did find this one on Gunbroker for $189.99, and they are out there on sale. And sometimes you can, if you do a little searching around, you can find them. When these first initially hit the market, they were very inexpensive. You could very easily pick one up for $150, $60. They have subsequently gone up in price because they are getting phenomenal reviews and people really like these things, so we're going to see how I like it. And just for fun, I went and I bought or borrowed a 1022 Ruger Takedown. The Ruger 1022 is probably what a lot of people would consider the benchmark for most of your garden variety field use 22 long rifles. These things have been in production for years and they are absolutely fantastic. Everybody who shoots a 1022 for the most part loves it. They are very reliable, they're very accurate, and people just love these. Now this is a 1022 Takedown, which is the only thing I could really get my hands on, but it does have a composite stock just like this one does, so it's a fair comparison. So let's talk about the TRAKR real quick. What do we know about the TRAKR, and what do I like about the TRAKR? I like the fact that the TRAKR's got an 18-inch barrel. The weight. This gun is stupid light. It weighs 3.8 pounds, 4 pounds. Before you go adding bipods and scopes and stuff like this, this thing doesn't weigh anything. It is super, super lightweight. Really like that. I love the fact that the stock comes with M-locks, so you can put some accessories on it. You could mount a flashlight, you could mount a bipod like I've done. You could, just by simply adding a pick rail to the M-lock slot. So I really, really like that. So let's talk about the things that I don't like. Right off the bat, and the first thing I have to talk about is the trigger. The trigger on this thing is less than stellar. I have felt worse, but I have most certainly felt better triggers. So the gun is empty. I have no ammo in the gun, and I know this is gonna trigger a lot of you that I'm gonna dry fire this. Get over it. I can't make the video unless I dry fire it to show you the ins and outs of the gun. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at this trigger. So before I show you the trigger, just know that I did put a trigger scale on it, and I was averaging anywhere from 5.2 to 5.3 pounds. So it's not the lightest trigger in the world, and at the same time it's not the heaviest. But more than anything, gun is empty. More than anything, when I take and when I squeeze this trigger from here to here, there's nothing. It's just free space. You're not engaging anything through this whole little better than 1/4 of an inch of travel on this trigger. It's just dead air. So go ahead and you take up the slack, and now you're engaging the trigger mechanism and you're engaging the sear. Then to actually fire the rifle, you've got another 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch of trigger travel to drop the firing pin or drop the hammer on this thing. This is actually a hammer fire, and it is not crisp by any means of the word. It's not. It does not break cleanly. It's not a crisp break. It's not gritty. It's fairly smooth, but it's really, really mushy on the bottom side of the sear just before it breaks over and drops the hammer. So the trigger on this thing is not what I would consider a great trigger. Now, if we compare it to the Ruger 1022, again, empty gun, comparing it to the Ruger 1022, the Ruger 1022 has got almost no take up, just a little fraction of an inch, maybe a 1/16 of an inch, and then from there, it's got a very crisp, clean break. And that's something that Ruger 1022s are kind of known for, is having decent triggers. And this one is no exception. This one has a decent trigger too. Now this is not my rifle, this is a friend's rifle, so I'm not going to dry fire it too many times. But just know that the Ruger 1022 does have a much, much better trigger than the TRAKR does. Okay, so you figured out I don't like the trigger. Is there anything else I don't like? The magazine. The magazine is actually a little bit tricky to get in and more so out. And I know there's shells in this mag, but I am on the range, so we're safe. There's a little button catch down here which you have to disengage to remove the magazine. So the magazine is a very snug fit, which is not a bad thing, but to remove the magazine you have to push the button with your thumb, and then at the same time you can pull the mag out. And it takes a little practice to figure out how to get the magazine out of this gun. At the same time, the Ruger 1022 with its iconic 10-round box magazine, which is probably one of the most reliable magazine designs in the world. Again, that one, they come up with all these little mag release extensions and stuff like that, but these Ruger 1022 magazines are not easy to get out either. They are a little sticky, and you kind of have to do a little bit of digitary gymnastics to get the magazine out of the rifle. So you compare those two things, and as far as the magazine goes, they're very comparable in difficulty or ease of removing it. As far as trigger goes, the Ruger just absolutely smokes it on trigger. So now let's stop talking, let's shut up, let's go ahead and let's shoot both these rifles, and let's see how they stack up shooting, and we're going to see how this thing groups at 50 yards. All right, first 10-round magazine. First 10 rounds, no problems. Safety works. Fairly rapid fire, no problems. All right, so let's try it with a suppressor, see how it works. All right, so the function of the gun is just fine. Now let's see how accurate it is. Now I'm at 50 yards. I'm going to compare it to the Ruger 1022 in the realm of accuracy. Now there are some differences. The 1022's got a 16-inch barrel. This one has an 18-inch. The 1022 quite obviously has a much better trigger than this one does. So that's going to make an effect. But how they are both running very inexpensive straight 4-power scopes. So it should be fairly fair. Yeah, it just should really be fairly fair. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run my target cam down. I'm going to point it at the 2 targets I got set up down there. I will do the TRAKR will be the far target to the right, and the Ruger will be the target next to it, left of the far right target. And I'm going to fire 10-shot groups. I'm going to fill up both mags. We're going to fire 10 shots and we're going to see how they line up. Looks like my TRAKR might be just shooting a little bit high, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back and I'm going to dial down. I'm going to dial down 8 clicks and see if we can't get that more in the middle. I'm going to shoot 10 more just to get a group. One, two, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, pretty much right there. I'd actually say the TRAKR might have been just a little more accurate than the Ruger 1022 as far as accuracy is concerned. I'm actually very happy with that level of accuracy, to be honest with you. All right, one final test. I've got some Aguila 22 hollow point 38 grain subsonics. I do not have high hopes that this gun is going to cycle them, but for the sake of science, we're going to give it a whirl. We'll keep the grass out of the mags. So let's just see if this rifle happens to cycle them. All right, it does cycle them, and that was so damn much fun. I'm going to do it again, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lapel mic off and put the camera nice and close to the rifle so that you can hear this. It's cycling 38 grain Aguila subsonics. They have a muzzle velocity of, it doesn't say. Just says 38 grain subsonics, 22 subsonics, 22 hollow points. And it's like fun quiet. It's not stupid quiet, it's not Hollywood quiet, but it's very quiet. Quiet enough where you can very easily hear the hear the rounds hitting the steel target. So let me go ahead and set the camera up without microphone so you can hear this. All right, I'm going to wait for the wind to die down just a little bit, but we have 38 grain Aguila subsonics. That is so much fun. That's an absolute hoot. I cannot believe this rifle actually functions those subsonic rounds. Just for reference, here's 5 full power 40 grain Federal box bulk ammo, so you can hear the difference. That's surprising, and it's a pleasant surprise. All right, for the sake of science, we're going to give the Ruger 1022 the opportunity to see if it'll fire Aguila subsonics just like the TRAKR does. 1022 will cycle them as well. So there you go. So what do I think of the rifle in the end? I like the rifle, especially for the price point that I got it in. For under $200, I picked this rifle up, and it can hold its paces right next to it, side by side with the Ruger 1022. And the 1022 is a tried and true platform. It's been around for decades, and it just shoots, and it always has. They've just worked. Everybody's owned one, everybody's shot one. But this thing actually kept up with it, especially in the accuracy department. Even though I am not a fan of the trigger. The trigger is actually pretty hideous on this thing. I'm not a fan. I do like the 18-inch barrel. I do like the fact that it's threaded. I do like the fact that it comes with a Picatinny rail already mounted on the rifle. All of these things. I like the fact that it weighs less than 4 pounds. I mean, this thing is really, really light. I like the fact that it's got M-LOK slots in it, already set to go for accessories. This thing shoots really well. It really does, and I'm very, very pleased with it. It shot every kind of ammo I put through it today. Subsonics, bulk pack ammo, even some old crap that I've had sitting on the shelf for a few years. It shot it all. So with that, let's go ahead and wrap this video up. If you're liking what you see here and you're liking the content on this channel, you'd be doing me a huge favor by hitting the like and subscribe button down below. Make sure you ring that notification bell so you get notified of upcoming videos, and hit us with comments. Anybody out there who's got this rifle, let us know of your experiences with it. Is it working well for you? Are you happy with it? Do you have any problems with it, and the like? With that, this is Ed from Jack of All Trades channel. As always, thank you for stopping by, and we will see you on the next video.